Alright guys, we are back with a regame, of course. We are going to head into the match right now, once again on Whirlwind. This is the GSL version. Unfortunately, there was a problem that the map that was hosted uses old stats, which has of course only been realized when the stats were actually needed. Therefore, yeah, I mean, you can't actually say anything against Shine here. He just tried to make this work, and oops, they changed the colors again. Wow, Shine is sneaky. Now I'm actually like really confused. They changed the colors, didn't they? Or am I
Yeah,
currently?
they did.
Nah, they didn't. I'm on LI colors.
Ah, okay.
All right, let's go for the invert. Let's start this. Okay, so basically this is the regame. We talk about the situation that occurred in the last match in a second, but let's focus a little bit on what's going on screen. Starting to the top left on Whirlwind, we now have the TSL player once more. It is of course a Zerg. He is Shine. And to the top right, we have his opponent. Starting for Team Liquid, we have a C. And the problem on the last map, just to go over things once again, was that the map used some old stats for units. We only know about the Queen, but maybe other things were also affected. The Queen range was still at 3, which is something that Shine, of course, could only realize when the Queens were actually attacking something, which was unfortunately when C had 10 Hellions running into his main base. But with those stats, it is just, well, it's kind of obvious that you have to restart the game. You can't play it like this. So both players in the last game took risky build orders, C with the double reactor factory Hellions and Shine with the fast tech to Mutalisk, but now we're going to find out what exactly is going to happen in game number 2.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I think that Shine would have still sustained a ton of damage in that game, but it's again, we don't know all the other things that were affected, and I guess at this point we're beating a dead horse. But the question now becomes, will we see the same builds from these players? C was joking around earlier that he was going to do it twice, regardless of the outcome of the previous game. So I don't know if that's actually going to be true or not. But when you do a build, you have a build plan for a map. You sometimes will just do it twice if you lose. This is an online tournament. This is not like a tournament where you've been preparing for a specific matchup for weeks, because the brackets were made, I mean, just like 20 minutes ago. So
yeah,
he didn't even know who he was going to face first.
It's a tough qualifier. We only have 60 players, and 2 of them will advance to the Iron Squid tournament. This is one of the qualifiers. In total, there are 4, 1 for each region, and then there is kind of a global qualifier at the end. But it's very, very tough to qualify, and if you already had a look at the brackets, you can tell that the creme de la creme of the Korean server is currently in the lobby, waiting for their games to start, minus the players that are currently at WCS Asia.
Yeah. By the way, we do have gas for Shine really quickly again, same timing as last game. See if he does the same build. It'd be funny if both players did the same build. It's kind of like, well, how much would the Queens actually have affected the situation, and might actually get to see that.
What is always a little bit odd to me is that if you go for such a huge risk, why don't you use your queen a little bit better in order to block the ramp? Of course you want to defend the creep tumors, but if you are this greedy, it is just so difficult to defeat Hellions. And with a good block at the ramp, you can at least delay the Hellions for quite a long time, and this might give you the chance to get Mutalisks out in time. We have a bit of a different strategy now for C though. He's not going to go straight for the Hellions once again. We have him with the 3rd orbital already, which is going to be spotted by Shine.
Yep, he sees it right away, and he can turn around. So now he knows that he can continue his build like planned, without having to worry about the Hellions this time.
He doesn't know about the natural, but with the positioning of the Overlord, of course, he can assume that this is not the first orbital. It's also because the timing just does not work out at all. But he confirms, tries to run in with the Zergling, is not able to really use it, but at this point in time, he definitely knows what's going on here.
He has pulled all but one, I think, out of the gas based on how fast it's coming in. Yeah, so he's not doing quite the same thing either himself. So
yeah, both of them are just spicing it up a little bit.
yeah.
And I really like it. I mean, the same builds would have been funny. I really liked how the last game started, but this is just something that you have to do. You have to adapt if you restart the game. And we see Shine very lifestyle here with a lot of Zerglings trying to be aggressive. And he spotted that his opponent is currently not having too many units to defend. He knows that there is a 3rd orbital, and therefore he can put some aggression and pressure onto the natural. One bunker is not going to be enough.
SCV does spot the slowlings though as they are coming across the map. He did not have speed done yet, and now he's going to pull the SCVs. Already 4 of them pulled here. This is still a pretty scary situation. This is the reason why a lot of players put that bunker next to the ramp.
And this is the dangerous part. If your bunker gets surrounded before the SCVs are in position, then you will lose it. But now he already has the SCVs in place. The bunker and the SCVs are being attacked. And this is a pretty decent trade for C after all. But he's still losing harvesters. And this is going to get very scary. He actually loses a lot more than I expected.
Yep, even lost that mule. A few Zerglings do escape, but worker count now 7 down for C, putting him down to 25. He's up against 40. Really nicely done by Shield, Shield, the defender of the bunker. I'm trying to say that, but I really want to say Liquid C, not Liquid Shield, not Shine. Oh my god.
Okay, now you're confusing me as well. Stop it right now. Another SCV dies, and C follows things up with Cloak Banshee. He's already researching the cloak tech here. He started off with the Reactor Factory Hellions right into the starport. And we have the tech now for Shine, so the timing will work out quite well for him. He will definitely be able to not only get the Overseer, but also the Spore Crawlers, as his first evolution chamber is done. We have him on 4 gas, 3 bases in total. Playing a pretty decent game here. The harvester count is at 44. He concentrated a little bit more on his tech and on getting a few units out on the map. But now, of course, what C has to do is try to catch up in the harvester count, trying to get to the same economy. And is already taking his third very early.
Yeah, very early third. He moved it right over there. This is a great way to take a third on this map because it's so close to your main. If you get attacked, you can just lift it back into the main really easily. So you can put it down there if you want to. You don't have to keep it there. Really flexible. Overseer is out. Infestation Pit's already on the way. The Hellions are kind of hovering around the outside of the base, not really able to deny tumors too much, but they are coming back in for another pass over here at the third, where they will be able to kill both of these drones without a problem.
They were waiting for the Banshee. The Queens are ready, and the Overseer is in position to attack the Banshee as soon as he goes for Glow. But the Hellions are doing a fair amount of damage, and the Zerglings are already gone. It's definitely going to be a mech style for C, who is heading a double armory, heading into the main base with the Banshee, while the Hellions are still trying to do some damage, but the Queens are ready.
Banshee not doing too much damage, only 2 kills in total. Probably going to get 3 here before going down. Overseer is in position. We'll actually get a 4th one. Gotta be careful not moving the Overseer all the way. Now the Banshee will escape. Should not have happened.
Yeah, that was really close, and the Queen should have killed the Banshee. The Overseer was out of position and therefore was not able to use the action. Now the Infestation Pit is done. Pathogen Glance is on the way, and with Pathogen Glance and these small attacks that Shine is still executing, he can put a lot of aggression on C, who is starting to go into this mech army that we talked about. We have him with a double factory now. He's taking gas to the third, and he really depends on all this gas. So with good timings, Shine might actually be able to do a lot of damage here. If he hits a good timing with his infestors that he currently has, he's building more and more Zerglings. There's also the +1/+1 coming up.
Yeah. Mech is a composition that is fragile once when it first starts out, but it gets stronger and stronger as time goes on. As long as he can hold on to all 6 gases, hold up that third base, he can really approach max very quickly, and that's what he's going to want to do. He could try to do a little harassments and pickoffs like with these Hellions, but he does not want to lose any of his Hellions or any of his siege tanks when they first start to come out, or in this case, of course, Thor's first. Because if you lose those expensive units, it's so much easier for the Zerg to replace their cheap Zerglings. Investors come out here and grab the Hellions. This is what I'm talking about. If you lose these Hellions, you suddenly lose all your control over the map.
That was really well done by Shine. He sees them, he has the infestors in position, he expects the Hellion to dart in at third, and then the Fungal ends everything for those guys. We have still a bit of, yeah, I wouldn't actually call that harass, more scouting that he sends off with the Zerglings, trying to find out what exactly is going on. But C has been able to hide, I think, most of his base, so I'm not quite sure if right now Shine actually knows what's coming. I don't think so. Well, now he spotted the double armory and is starting to produce roaches, and also goes straight for the +1 attack upgrade, as well as for the roach speed, but up to this point I don't think that he had any idea.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He is getting Burrow now for his roaches as well. Something to note about what C is doing here is now, of course, and then he knows it's been shown he starts siege tank production because he wants to be able to deal with those roaches. He already built some Thors, so if there's some sort of secret Mutalisk switch or something like that, he's going to be okay against it. Blue Flame is coming out now as well.
And on the other hand, we have Shine heading towards Spire first. He will go for Hive later on, but he needs a few more units in order to make this work. And he's also going to get another base. Here's the 4th at the left side of the map. Both of them playing this game a lot more passive than in the first match that we've seen today that had to be really hosted. That's of course Takes it, yeah, makes it a little bit less exciting in the early game, but I think the late game will definitely make up for it.
Yeah, probably so. These queens really want that Viking, and they will get him. Ouch.
Yep, Viking down, the Overseer lives in the middle of the map, more Hellions die. Resources lost in general are still quite even. The unit count, as you can see, is still a Harvester lead for Shine, who is up on at 18 roaches. He actually has a fair amount of them, and it looks like C going for a planetary here. He might just use it to move it to the right side of the map, but quite often we also see Terran players trying to establish a better position in the map with the
Yeah,
planetary.
usually the planetary comes later, but on a map like this, I think it would still make sense at this timing to get this, because he knows that he has all the resources he needs to build his first maxed out mech army off of those 3 bases. His upgrades are coming out pretty nicely as well. He's got +2 for his siege tanks finishing up right now. He's got the plating almost done. Or, I mean, it's just starting as well. It's not quite almost done. In fact, it stopped. Ah, I was like, what? I was like, how does that even happen? I'm like, I know some of his ultralists stop if they're like blocked inside of hatcheries and they can't finish or something, but this
Yeah,
was
Moas
totally
as well.
different. I was actually like, my mind was blown. I was like, whoa, how does that get stopped?
Alright, a contaminate. This is the answer to the small riddle that we had. Greater Spy has been started, Hive is finished, and still Shine with a presence on the map. Even though C has the same supply, I have to say that Shine is really playing a very aware game. He always sees the Hellions that try to sneak by, but he doesn't catch those 3 up here.
Yeah, and with the blue flame upgrade as well as +2, they're going to be able to rip through those drones very quickly when they find them. I don't think there's a spine.
Not at the 4th, only
yeah.
the Queen. He's building the spine crawlers, but the Zerglings are there. He really doesn't lose a lot to those guys. The entire game already, he was able to catch every single one of them, chase them back,
Yeah.
and he's doing it again.
After that first Hellion problem he had in game number 1, he really stepped it up. He's not worried about Hellions. All these Hellions not going to be able to escape. Not very many kills there. Now the attack has started. C is not quite maxed out, but he's close enough for him to decide to go.
And he gets 6 Broodlords. The Broodlords should be here in time to prevent the worst, especially with only 2 Thors available. I don't think we have too many Vikings. The Viking earlier was killed. C did not even bother to rebuild them. Now he only has those Thors as an anti-air, and 6 Broodlords are definitely enough in order to do a lot of damage. A ton of Banshees that try to make sure that well, the rest of the units, especially the Infestors, are being pressured. But this is going to get very tricky, especially since we now have Corruptors.
Yeah, there's a lot of Corruptors available. 5 more of them coming out as well. He needs to make Vikings. He cannot use the Thors alone to defend his army here. He's not even able to get into the heart of any of these bases. The Infestors buy time. The Broodlords just clean everything else up, and C is losing a lot here. He needs the Viking production.
The Fungal pinned those units down, and the Thor dies. Those 2 siege tanks won't be an exception either. They will die as well. Boom, here we go. Broodlord takes him out, and now to the left side we have the rest of the Terran army, but he is dropping in supply fast. He really has a huge problem as a hand now. He does not have anti-air, he just doesn't have anything. He doesn't even have the production buildings that he needs in order to get Vikings into the match. He kills the 4th, which is really, really important. But now we have so many additional Zerglings being built. We have a fewer Broodlords that he's morphing, and this is just going to be very tricky. Just look at the production tab. There are 4 Marines. That's all the anti-air that he's got.
That's all he's got, man. He's adding 2 starports now. He had a reactor finish up earlier for his first Viking production, but the Broodlord count is going to get worse and worse. He's got 2 more on the way, just not finishing. These tanks are getting caught by Lings, and the Corruptors are going to come probably start corrupting some of those. At least it should be.
That was not a good trade at all for C. Now he's losing more siege tanks. He's losing so much. He's down at 150 supply. All the minerals and especially the gas that he already lost. Just look at the tab here. 2,000 resources lost for C. If you compare the difference.
Yeah, over his opponent for sure. Now, consider that more and more siege tanks were lost for C, and if he doesn't rebuild them, if Shine knows that, he's just going to make a pretty big roach switch and try to crush the army. But if he does rebuild them, then he can just continue to use these Broodlords. The Vikings are the critical unit here. 3 more Infestors coming out now. It's going to put him up to a total of 9.
He can just switch his army composition whenever he wants. C is in trouble even though he's at the same supply. He has a good bank, but can he really fight this army off? Everywhere on the map there are Zerg units trying to run in from a different angle, making sure that there's no run by. A few Hellions are already spotted, and he needs to be careful, but there are bases built for Shine to the top of the map to the left side. The Zerg is now attempting to run in, but against the Planetary it's just not going to work. But the problem remains, how do you beat this army with the units that he has? He's trying to get Vikings, he's getting the upgrades for them as well, but will it be enough?
Well, he's going to lose these Hellions on the map, unfortunately. He's trying to find openings to harass them, but the worker count is 67 to 67 dead even. But the thing is, like I said before, Shine can remax his army so much easier. He can make roaches again if he needs to. He's already got a ton of infestors out with their energy using units. I think this will be his 10th one coming out now. More corruptors as well. He's got the composition that is tough to beat, and it's going to be hard for C to move around this. Obviously now he's got the Vikings out, but it's not a happy place.
Smart move to unroot those spine crawlers where there is no creep. They lose hit points when they're off creep, but if you unroot them they don't lose the hit points anymore. So really well done by Shine, who is now being very aggressive, trying to go into the third of his opponent. The Vikings have to be so careful. We currently have 14 of them. And this is gonna get ugly. It's gonna get very ugly, especially with the Infestors now suddenly in range for a Fungal. And the Viking numbers are dwindling. They're down to only 10 against 12 Corruptors, and still Infestors being there.
Now, the Corruptors are not giving up here. They're just falling all the way down, ripping through the Vikings. That's it. GG.
Game number 1 is over. Shine takes the first map. Alright, the first map in the best of 3 ends in favor of Shine. C is now down a map, and I guess we're going to start the second very soon.